cover Jeff Schmedding, now your assistant head coach. I mean, just kind of what went into that process, and what does that kind of add to his responsibilities?
Yeah, well, Jeff and I, so we've been together at Boise, and I knew Jeff even before when he was at Houston, Washington. He would come up and visit, do some professional development. So the relationship goes back quite a ways. But when he came up and was our special teams coordinator and outside linebacker coach at the time, we were excited to have him on staff. Andy Avalos leaves and goes to Oregon, and we elevated Jeff to be the defensive coordinator. Did a tremendous job. So just over time, I've gotten to get to know him, and I think this is especially here, I think this is a great fit for him to be in that role. And really, the assistant head coach, that's someone for me to be able to talk about certain things with, and maybe some thoughts or ideas that I've got. And we talk amongst the staff, so it's not like anybody on the staff is not going to be a part of these conversations, but maybe to go execute some of the things that we have to do, along with our chief of staff, Brad Rondo. And so I think Jeff's done a great job since he's been here. I think he's connected with the players. I think he's a guy that has connected well with the staff. And we have coaches on our staff. We have 2 former head coaches. Those guys understand that, just having somebody in that role. And so that will be a position where he can help me and help make some decisions and with the staff. And then, and I think it's a good fit for him as well. I think he's done a great job when he was at Boise. He's done a great job since he's been here. And I think he's a guy that cares tremendously about his players, shows up every single day, provides value to what we're doing, and is a guy that I think very highly of. So, it's good for him to be in that position. I'm just looking at you. I don't know why.
I'll go. Jason Caldwell, inside the Auburn Tigers. With so many changes, transfer portal, all those things, does it make it even more important for the summer, for those captains practices, those things to get guys up to speed as quickly as possible?
Yeah, regardless of that, those captains practices are going to be huge. Only because the 15 practices, we were going pretty fast. And we were trying to get a lot in. We're going back and reviewing things that we did. And still, the detail, we have a lot of work to do. The detail is not quite where it needs to be. And so I think there's a good enough foundation right now that the players can go out there and run these practices, and they can help each other and so communicate with their coaches and just develop themselves through the summer, and we need that. New players that just got here, some of those freshmen that were here in the spring. Spring for them is always, their eyes are that big. It's just, it goes fast. And, they don't know left, right. They're trying to figure things out. It'll slow down this summer. They'll have a better understanding of what we're doing. And then the new players coming in that haven't been here, you're going to count those leaders that, like Owen and guys that pick these schemes up a little bit faster and did a good job preparing themselves to help lead these guys in the summertime. And we got to maximize our development. June's going to be, we talked about June's going to be a crazy month. We're still focused on our players, even though we're bringing in a lot of new faces and people that are going to be the future of our program. We still got to stay focused on our guys. And then July, fine tune and really get into being prepared for August. And I've always believed that summertime, I think it's good that we can be out there as coaches for certain things. I like the fact that the football part is really on them. I really do. I think that's where you develop your chemistry as a team, is letting those leaders and letting those guys that are in positions to drive the practices in the summer, let them go out there and do that. And it won't be perfect, and that's part of it too. They're gonna have to correct themselves along the way. But we got to maximize June, July. We got to maximize the summer, the practices, the player-run practices, all those things, in order for us to really hit those check marks along those 2 months till we get to August. We got 25 practices. It's going to go like that, and we're playing. And those 25 practices have to get us ready for the season. And I've always felt that way. I think this summer's no different. New faces coming in. They're going to have to go quick. And so the guys that have been here for the short amount of time, they're going to have to help those guys and lead them in the summer.
Bryan, Josh Montgomery, advertiser. Obviously, you guys haven't been able to host visits since you've been coached. This is the first time in a long time anyone's hosted visits. What goes into planning a month as busy as June could be recruiting wise?
Yeah, well, a lot of planning. Just a lot of conversations. A lot of here's the blueprint. and just knowing that it's not going to go like that. You know, there's going to be a lot of times where it's smooth and we're hitting on times and we're where we need to be, and everybody knows what to do. And there's going to be some things that we know are going to happen this summer. Guy doesn't show up, guy comes on unofficial, whatever it is. There's going to be some things that happen through the summer that we just got to be ready to adjust. And so right now it's not so much having like contingency plans as it is just having a formula to communicate when things happen. All right, and for everybody just to know, like, we'll be okay. These are the people to go to when some of these things come up. These are the people that are going to handle it when these things come up. Make sure that what we're doing still goes smoothly. And, you know, we do a great job when people come on campus and give them experience with this staff and just here at Auburn. You know, so when they leave, they want to come back. And at the end of the day, you know, I kind of look at it like we get one shot to make a first impression. Everybody's coming on. There's going to be a lot. Probably when you get 6-7 days into it, you know, coaches are going to be tired. They might feel overwhelmed. But still, that visit with that family and that player is going to be the most important that we have of any of the visits we've had, because it's face to face and they're right here on this campus. And so, what I've told our staff more than anything is just, you know, we got to do a great job making sure we have energy, making sure that we take care of ourselves, making sure that we're focused and we communicate properly so that we can go out there and execute the plan that we have in place for June. And I want our coaches to, you know, to do a great job and to enjoy a month that's going to be somewhat of a grind, but know that we did a hell of a job at the end of June with every player that stepped foot on this campus, every kid that came to camp, even the guys that we're not recruiting. I mean, this isn't just about the guys that we're taking or trying to offer and all that. It's about everybody that comes on campus. So there's going to be plenty of people here that don't end up at Auburn, but when they leave here, you want them to have an experience that they'll talk about wanting to come back, and that's important to us. And so that's really what our focus is, and just knowing that, you know, we have a good plan, we have things in place, but things are going to change, and we're going to have to adjust. And so, you know, nobody panic. All right, just communicate properly. We'll fix it. We got great people on the staff. They know how to adapt. They can adjust, and they'll do a great job as long as we just trust, all right, how we operate when things don't go the way we plan.
Time for a few more.
Jeff Harrison, WRBO Industry and Columbus. So, how important, especially with you just starting out here at Auburn, how important is it to be able to bring these recruits on campus to be able to showcase the culture that you're trying to build here?
Yeah, I've talked about it. We've done virtual visits, and all those things are cool, but there's nothing like being here on campus, in my opinion. And that's just, I've experienced it myself. I came here just a few months ago, and I got to go into Jordan-Hare Stadium. I got to be a part of, places on campus or be on campus and see things and check it out. So we can talk about it, but until you experience it, it's just different. And so I think having them here on campus, having our coaches around them, which I think our coaches do a good job when they're in person, and so that will help. And just being able to get face to face with people. At the end of the day, that's where the relationships are built, right? You got to kind of see these players. You got to see their families. They got to see you. I don't think you quite get that passion or that feeling through a phone and FaceTime and all that like you do in person. So to me, that's the most important thing. And getting them here and getting them in this community and being around the people that we have on the staff and being around, even our players and just the vibe of our football team, I think is going to be a good thing.
Brian, Jordan Hill with the Black Auburn News. I know you can't talk about one guy specifically, but when you look at your quarterback group, just what do you want to see from a competitive standpoint from now in the summer and then going into fall camp?
Yeah, like everybody else, guys compete. The quarterback room is about toughness, it's about preparation, it's about decision making, it's about accuracy. But these guys, you want to have the ultimate competitors in that room. And really it starts with themselves. That's the one thing about that position. There's one guy that's on the field, usually, right, that's playing that position. So you got to start with yourself. You got to compete with yourself every day. You got to push yourself every day. You got to develop yourself every day. And I think just within our team, competition helps that. Competition keeps you focused. Competition gets you up and out of bed in the morning and drives you towards improvement. And so, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's something that, I hope our players understand, like, that's not a bad thing. And in every position on our team, I hope that we can provide competition. And I hope that every guy wants to play, and I hope every guy, they're great teammates with each other, they treat each other, respect each other like they should. We build chemistry, but at the same time, you're here to play. You're here to go out there and be on the field. And so every single day, you focus on what you need to do. You compete with yourself. And when you got people that are driving you to do that in that position or on this team, that's going to help you. So to me, that's something that good teams have. They have competition. They have rooms where guys are pushing each other in that room. And anytime basketball, football, baseball, whatever sport, you hear stories of teams that are really successful about their teammates pushing. So if you listen to a really good player, he'll talk about how his teammates pushed him and how people on the team drive him, how that motivation helps him improve. Right? You want to hear that from your players, and no different in the quarterback room or the D-line room or the wide receiver room. We need competition, and I think we're hopefully establishing that. We'll see. Guys have to actually go out there and do it. We can talk about it and create it, but guys have to do it, and we won't know that until we get all these new faces and people on campus and get a chance to be around them and watch them work in the summertime and just see how that develops. This football team, how they develop as players and ultimately competitors.
Bryan, you talked in kind of your intro press conference about how much you have leaned on your previous coaches and all the people you've worked with kind of for your plan here at Auburn. I'm just kind of wondering, like, now that you're at this stage, how much of it is still working on that plan and looking back on what you've learned in your career, or are you kind of full steam ahead? This is what I know what I'm doing right now. I guess how do you balance those two things?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I wouldn't say, I sit there and say I know what I'm doing. I go back and I look at things that I've learned through my career, and I look at how situations I'm in, I've handled it, how coaches I've worked with, how they've handled it, and not just how other coaches have handled it. It's not just guys I've worked with, it's other relationships I've built over time too, that you can look at how another coach handled the situation. And I've got confidence in what we're doing. I've got confidence in our plan, but there's so many great people out there to learn from. There's so many good things in books that you can find. There's so many things that you can grow and develop from. I think that's part of my responsibility as a leader, is to do that. And know that we have a good plan, trust it. I do believe in it. I like our blueprint. I have conviction for it, and I know that the direction we're headed is going to fit us as a program and the things that we need to do. But I still think a lot about the guys I've worked with and appreciate and go back. And there's some things now as a head coach, you look back and go, all right, I get that now. Now I know why we did it that way. Now I know why we didn't have that conversation. Now I know why we moved in these directions. And so it's good to have some people that you can sit down and have a conversation with. And some of those coaches I mentioned before, I can do that. At the same time, we're full steam ahead with what we're doing at Auburn, and we're making sure that we're getting prepared for June. That's the focus, and then we'll take it from there.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Good?
Yeah.